thought you'd be more excited about our new base. We finally have a place to call home.
Trust me, Hera, I'm excited. This is my excited face.
Yeah, very nice.
You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? Should I have? It's a ship that made the castle run in less than 12 parsecs.
Hey everyone, and welcome to
Castle Run Weekly.
My name is Danny.
I'm Heather.
And today, guys, we are celebrating our Holocron Book Club.
Yay!
Yes, it's back. Now,
10:30 at night, and I've got my
Yes.
coffee, my huge It's No Moon coffee.
oh yes. Sorry for it not being live. We will return to that hopefully next week. But we still wanted to get this out to you. This will be arriving to you on Friday, which is a little out of the norm as well. But
I
hey,
have to
gotta roll
explain.
with it.
I have to explain. I tried an audiobook, okay? And it explained to me, it told me that I was on chapter 15. So I get here today to do the Holocron Book Club on the live show like I always do. And Danny,
On time, mind you,
on
too.
time. I was early. And Danny starts talking about the book, and I'm like telling him how disappointed I was and everything. And then he starts telling me about things, and I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't read that part. Wait a minute. Yeah. So chapter 15 on the particular audiobook version that I listened to is actually chapter 4 of the book.
Oh.
Yes. So I have spent the rest of the day legitimately reading the book. No more audiobooks for Heather.
Oh, I hate that it failed you, though. Like, because I've told
Felt
you
me
how I
bad.
read it. So, yeah.
Yes, felt me bad.
Oh,
And,
man.
you know, I wasn't really impressed with the quality. You know, everybody sounded really good except for Kanan himself, which sounded like a whiny little brat. He was like, so
See, I wonder who is narrating yours, because the same guy that's narrating the one that I've been listening to on Audible narrated Force Awakens and Thrawn.
Well,
So it sounds like a different guy, because I didn't
it
get that
had to
vibe
be
from
a
it, but
different guy, because this guy, and Kanan really, I mean, his voice cracks sometimes.
Oh no, we're in different audiobooks.
And it's like really annoying.
Oh no.
And to me, Kanan is just not an annoying character. He never has been.
Not at all. Yeah.
You know, and so I was just very unimpressed. And then I'm going to read from now on. Books are my thing, and I am not going to rely on someone else reading it to me. I'm going to read it, and it'll just have to take up my time. Everybody was raving about audiobooks and so many, you know, other book clubs and everything. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to read several different books at once, and so I thought I'd give it a try. No,
Swearing them off, huh?
I'm swearing them off because I thought I finished my 15 chapters last week.
And see, I was wondering, like, when I'd finished, I was wondering the whole time, I was like, why was she so unimpressed? Why was she not enjoying it? I was like, because in the 15 chapters, it's not like there's a ton of information.
There is a ton of information, though.
See, I didn't feel like there was. Because, the pace of Thrawn and Force Awakens, they're longer chapters, for one.
Right.
It feels more episodic. There's more completion to the chapters.
15 was episodic because we finished with her finally telling him her name. And
Yes.
I was... Spoilers. We always say this, but spoilers.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, going back, 10 hours later from where we were talking about it earlier, I have a totally different view of this book. So
Cool. Well, and again, with the 15 chapters, I guess maybe it's just that I'm used to the longer chapters.
Right.
Because, there was a lot more information packed into one, and it felt like every 3 pages it was a new chapter.
Well, this is
that kind of
a
threw me off a
junior
little
novel,
bit. So.
too.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that would make a little bit more sense.
It's not, purely like a children's novel. It's more for teenagers.
a
and
young
stuff.
adult kind of.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I can really see that now because I mean, the whole time I was wondering, I was like, why this choice? Why 60 chapters?
Right.
Well,
when you're a kid, you want to get through a chapter fast, and when you get when you get through a chapter, you feel accomplished. You want to get through another chapter and another one. So,
I felt accomplished.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I read 15 chapters in one day. Ha ha ha! I'm a huge reader. Drop the mic.
Oh yes. Never mind that they were maybe only 50 pages, but anyways.
Let's see.
But anyways, so
I think it was like.
I think it ended
106.
So there you go.
So.
I think 106 would have given us like maybe 2 chapters out of Thrawn.
Right. I could probably tell you, but we'll do that later.
There we go.
Because now I'm curious.
So getting into the story of it all.
Yes.
So what did you think of that so far?
I really liked the story. I liked the beginning with Caleb Dune.
Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know, that is Kanan Jarrus.
That is Kanan Jarrus. That is his real name. And he's sitting there with Kenobi listening to this lecture, and he's thinking, and I think that that's a wonderful thing. And he might have saved countless Jedi lives.
Definitely. It's really cool because it kind of ties into, well, it doesn't kind of, it absolutely ties into Revenge of the Sith, where, because the lecture they're having is about the emergency beacon.
Right.
Kind of like the all clear message and the come home message and things like that. And I thought it was really cool. Like it almost felt like Caleb Dune was kind of the reader or the viewer watching the movies or reading the book, where he was like, for what purpose would all the Jedi in the galaxy need to come home? He's like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you need all the Jedi in one single location? And then Obi-Wan's like, what do you think? He's like, I guess unforeseen circumstances, kind of like just
exactly,
kind of like, I'll just entertain this or whatever. He's like, okay, well, can it send people away? And then the other masters around were like, oh, that's enough. And everyone's like, no. That's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
Which, that's the thing, is that before that, Obi-Wan hadn't thought of that.
No,
and so,
never
like
even crossed his mind. I mean, if it would have crossed his mind, then he would have, been able to entertain it even quicker. But he didn't. Oh, yeah. This was the first new canon book after the Disney thing. So this was a big deal when this happened. That it was establishing canon that was not movie.
Yes, definitely. Which, I mean, I've been really enjoying. I don't feel like it's too young or anything like that.
I don't either. I think talking about drunk people and killing people constantly isn't really a youth concept. But
right, you get Kanan the drunk, which is interesting, but doesn't surprise me though, because I mean, it made me think of the episode Empire Day, when they almost get caught by a stormtrooper, and Kanan's like, "Yeah, Empire Day," and Ezra's like, "Just forgive my drunk uncle."
Right.
But
so one thing I had a question on is Caleb said that the Sith had not been heard from in millennia. But Kenobi already had a beard, which means Anakin had already been discovered, which means the Sith had already been discovered. And it makes me wonder, did they not tell the younglings, which they should have? Was it something that just wasn't known? I mean, I'm curious what your take was on that.
My take on that is more of a cover-up, because I mean, you see throughout the entire prequel trilogy, Clone Wars, everything, this compartmentalization of knowledge throughout the Jedi Order of, we're only going to let certain people in on certain things and only trust certain Jedi with certain things, and basically everything that they put Anakin through, distrusting him for absolutely no reason and things like that. That's
another reason I love the Jedi. I'm going to be a Jedi one day.
But I mean, that's what it made me think of, because it's kind of like I don't know, like if something huge like that was coming, to me, it felt like they were like, oh, we need to know more before we really say something. but at the same time, it was almost fear of saying something would cause the fear of the thing. Almost make it real, I guess,
Maybe.
is how I interpreted it a little bit.
But I mean, if
But
someone's being groomed to be a Sith, you would think that they would warn people. Hey, there's Sith out there, and you might want to watch.
By the way,
that.
guys. Exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, it adds to the whole thing with the Jedi Council where it just does not make sense. Maybe it was just that leadership and that council that caused the Jedi to be that way.
That just shows that they're flawed.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, they're well, for the most part, human. I mean, not all human, obviously, but they're beings, and beings are flawed.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of how I took it. Yeah, I feel like it was more of a hush-hush kind of thing. Only the inner circle knew about it, and they were dealing with it. So,
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Otherwise, it's the boogeyman that you tell all the Padawans about is real.
So, yeah, that part I did listen to in the audiobook, and the audiobook would like stop mid-chapter to change chapters, but I wasn't looking at the book at the same moment that I was listening the first time, so I didn't know that, and I kept thinking it was very awkwardly written.
So weirdly paced.
Weirdly paced, yes.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I really, that opening scene was really cool, I thought.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was really exciting for me because it was just cool seeing Kanan before Kanan. I guess if that makes sense, seeing him as that Padawan and the experiences he had and things like that. And I'd actually started reading a little bit of the comic series, and he's just as inquisitive in that as well, where he's the one that's known for asking too many questions.
Right.
But he's like, I mean, it's not that I don't trust anybody. I would like to know. I want to know the reason. I'll take a directive. I'll do a command, but I want to know the reason. Which is evident in his character that we see in Rebels too. Where he's not somebody who just blindly follows someone. He follows Hera because he trusts and loves her. But at the same time, he still questions her a lot.
Yeah, he does.
So,
especially when it comes to the rebellion. Because he's not a warrior. I mean, he was supposed to be a warrior.
Right.
But he chose a different path. This is not the path that he chose. He's doing it because it's the right thing to do, but not... I feel that he chose it for Hera, and because he, things have just gotten that bad.
Yeah.
And he just felt he had no other choice, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not there yet, so...
Right. Well, and then a little bit we know, like, it kind of feels like... I guess that's maybe what you were saying, where it feels like the only... like, if Hera was not in the equation, this would not be the Kanan that we get in Rebels. Right. He would not be a part of the rebellion. He'd still be this...
brawler.
Taking random jobs, brawler...
Right.
Occasionally running the bar kind of guy of I don't want to get involved. I did think it was really interesting that he made it's talked about how he wished that the Force would just go away. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, you can tell that. I mean, obviously, Order 66 is sore for him. It was his family. That was the only family he ever knew. I think he even says that in the book about how he doesn't really understand parents. Him. Yeah, they did. Absolutely. But I mean, I thought that was interesting though, that he was like, I mean, it just shows up at the Force shows up at the most inconvenient times, whether it be to save my skin or not. I wish it would just go away.
Right.
And I don't know, like to me, that was just kind of, you could kind of feel his pain in that. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
I could. It was pretty profound, and it did save his skin, but it also risked it too. If he would have stuck around for even a moment longer, it still might, because there's cameras everywhere, we know now.
Man, this surveillance state's creepy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get there.
Yeah.
The first thing after Caleb and go away, Kenobi sending the order to shoo. we get Sloane and Vidian.
Yes. So Vidian kind of seems like a half Vader type, almost like we're getting an incomplete Vader.
See, I think it'd be more of a Grievous.
I kind of got that feeling a little bit too. Like, I don't know, like it was like a cross
Grievous.
between.
Right. Yeah. It was more like, I'm just going to bash you to death because you're inefficient.
Yeah.
I'm tired of you and you've annoyed me and you're inefficient. So I'm just going to kill you now.
Definitely. He kind of, just for you as a Doctor Who fan, kind of made me think of the Daleks for a moment.
Well, the Daleks hate everyone. This guy, if you're
true.
efficient, you can live.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just when he was pounding the mess out of that Nemoidian, like I could just hear him saying "exterminate, exterminate." But that's what he kind of reminded me of. That the cyborg men kind of.
Yeah, I heard him saying, Dooku has trained me in your Jedi art.
There you go.
Swing at him like a fan.
Right, because that's efficient.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this Vidian character, though, like, I don't know, what do you think of him?
I don't know, he really intrigues me because he's on his deathbed and he knows he's probably never going to survive, and he rubs his 2 cents together and makes a fortune to buy himself a whole new body, and he chooses this one. This one.
Right.
Just because it intimidates people more and it's more efficient.
Yeah.
And so, it really intrigues me because he's a very formidable enemy. And he has to erase his memory every day. Or parts of it.
Yeah, that sounded messed up.
I think that's going to come into play because he erased Kanan.
I was about to say, yeah, it's already in play at the moment, yeah.
So when he sees Kanan again, he's not going to know that he's already had an encounter with him and to kill him on sight.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I saw when he erased him, I was like, huh.
So Kanan escaped under the radar.
Yeah. And, what was her name? Zanu? I hate that I can't remember names. Anyway, we'll get there. The surveillance.
Oh, the Sulliston woman?
Yeah.
I can't remember her name either, but yeah.
Or...
something like that, yeah.
But anyway, she let him off with a pass because he stood up to Vidian. And I thought, that's pretty cool. And of course, Hera has been arrested. So, she's not happy about that because these people are her only family.
Right.
And they have been keeping tabs on people for 30 years. The Empire has been around for a decade.
Yep. Kind of makes you wonder.
And so there you go.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the whole thing just is kind of just wild. Like, I think I'm trying to remember what it was, but I think wasn't it in the book at one point where it was talking about, I hope they don't have a vocal print of me or any of the or any of this kind of stuff.
Kanan was saying that. Yeah.
Like, that's wild. Like the surveillance on this planet has just gotten out of hand.
Not just on this planet, the way they say it. I mean, it's been everywhere, and it makes me wonder if it's when the Chancellor became the Chancellor.
That's possible.
Because I can't remember the timeline, but Anakin was 9. And then, so when the Chancellor became when Palpatine became the Chancellor, is that when he instituted the surveillance?
It's possible. For their protection.
For their protection, because the terminology evolved over the decades.
Yeah. It's got its political overtones there.
Right. Well, it is wars. Star Wars.
It's true. Yeah, but I mean, like, it was, I don't know, like, it was so jarring to me when it was like every day to the it was Miters Minox or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it was every day to that team. Like, oh yeah, well, so and so. Oh, don't worry about them. They got a red star. They're mentally not there, and things
Right.
like that. And it was just kind of like, oh wow, okay, well, they've really been watching. And then even she goes to the point where, like she said, oh, I've seen this character before talking about Kanan, but he helps out, so he's we'll give him a pass.
We'll give
It's
him a
almost
pass
like
today.
a level of playing God. So,
Even though
yeah,
she was on the highest alert, she still gave him a pass anyway.
yeah,
Plus, we're going to see where the data cube goes.
yes,
So
definitely.
she's a little peeved though at this point, so I can see her actually delivering that to Hera but I can't wait to see that in the next section.
Well, and to her, like, it actually was about security. It was about safety.
It really was. She
Um,
truly felt she was doing
yeah.
the right thing. She is not trying to hurt anyone. And when
Right.
people that she's reporting has started disappearing, she's like, well, none of my business. Surely it's fine. I'm moving
Yep.
on. This is, for the best of the Empire.
Right.
And the
then
Empire is
Empire-
just
yeah.
the Republic renamed, obviously. So, what's the big deal?
Right. And
If-
then they encroach on those liberties a little bit too much for her.
Right.
She realizes they're turning her into a weapon, just basically.
Yeah, they come into the room and literally take her man away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not her man, but
Yeah.
her friend, her best friend.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
know.
Which ends up being Hera's contact, which
Yes.
was kind of cool.
I thought so. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you knew it was somebody. You just didn't know who.
Right.
And I think it's cool that it was somebody that was actually in the surveillance area that would know who and how to talk to people. It makes you wonder, though, how they heard him say random things in the building and then haven't heard things spoken to Hera in a data,
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder how he got through certain things. So I'm curious to see how that's going to turn out.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I would imagine, just theorizing that, with somebody who had a knowledge of how all of that surveillance state worked,
Right.
he would know the ins and outs and how to get around it, the blind spots, things like that. So
You would think, but then
would
he
think.
might not have gotten arrested.
that's true. He kind of got himself caught. But yeah.
Because even earlier that day, he had said something that got him snapped at. You shouldn't say
yeah.
that. Shut up.
Oh, definitely. So yeah. So what did you think of Skelly?
Okay.
I'm just curious.
Skelly to me is. I'm trying to think of an example. But basically, he has so much good that he's trying to do. Maybe not, like typical good. He's not going around, giving out alms to poor, but he's trying to save lives. He's found these things that are not going to work, and nobody's going to listen. And so, for some reason, he thinks Kanan is different. He thinks Kanan is his friend. And he says, hey, Kanan, back me up here. And Kanan says, no. And by the way, that's where the book ended in the audio book. Is
Man.
Skelly telling him that. So, that's where I was. And, but Skelly's like, he really wants to make a point and not hurt anybody. And he's kind of dumb in some ways.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't set a cavern to explode without checking the new duty schedule. Right?
Right.
I mean, he could have taken down half the moon with that
By
cart.
himself,
Yeah. But in another way, he's way smart. And he knows exactly where to put explosives to make them go boom in a way that he needs them to do. And he's free now. Hera set him free. And Kanan did not. Kanan turned his hiney in.
That's true. Skelly kind of got on my nerves a little bit. And maybe it was the way it was read in the audiobook, because I was doing the audiobook and the thing. Yeah. But even still, though, like, his character reminds me of the character that Cassian had come across at the beginning of Rogue One in that little alleyway. And he was like, I've got this information,
Yeah.
And he was just freaking out. I don't know what to do. I can't climb. Oh, my gosh. Just freaking out.
And then he just got shot.
Yeah, and Cassian was just like, shh, it's going to be okay. Boom.
Yeah. Like that's a spoiler for Rogue One. So if you haven't seen it, oops. Happens pretty early.
Honest, though. Yeah.
Happens pretty early.
But I mean, like, that's what Skelly reminded me of, because he was so erratic. So even when Hera does call on him, he's kind of a wild card. As to if he can keep his mouth shut, for one. And if he actually can be useful to the cause.
I don't know if he can. I mean, I think that he will eventually be useful in some way. Because I just think he will be.
Yeah.
But I don't think he is going to be as helpful as Hera hoped.
Right. Well, I kind of question his allegiance too, because I mean, like, when all the stormtroopers were heading to the surface looking for him, they're like, he was like, they're looking for me, so they can honor me and praise me.
That's what I'm saying. He's an idiot in so many ways. He doesn't understand the Empire, because when he was saying negative things about the Empire, he wasn't even saying negative things about the Empire. He was just saying they're going to have a problem if they don't listen. And that's all he was saying. And they took it as
a threat against the Empire.
Yeah. And that he should have known at that moment, they've come to arrest me and they've been listening to what I say. Well, they took me wrong. Well, they won't take this wrong. Ha ha. And then boom, boom. And then, they'll want to talk to me now. I need to talk to Vidian.
Exactly. Just
so I get it. He's a very annoying character, but I can see he's very shattered from war. Because
that's true. Because he is a Clone War vet.
Yeah, he went in those foxholes to save all of his people over and over and over and over again. And his entire life, it has been a theme that people don't listen. And the only person that's ever said that they'll listen to him is Hera. And if that doesn't catalyze you, what does?
I hear you. So maybe he'll become different. Maybe he'll step up to the plate.
He's not going to be different. I mean, he is who he is, and he is crazy.
Well, I mean, as far as a shift in, I don't know, I guess perception, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe in a perception of maybe one person. Maybe nobody ever listens can turn into, well, somebody might listen eventually.
True.
And, he is still a crazy person.
Yeah. Definitely. No, I completely agree with that. Yes, extremely volatile.
With volatile chemical knowledge.
He reminds me of, I don't know if you've played Overwatch, Junkrat.
I've played a little Overwatch. I'm not a big gamer, but
yeah. There's a character on there that's an explosive expert that happens to be missing like part of his leg. He has a peg leg, and he's like crazy with bombs and all this kind of stuff. So we'll just rename him Skelly.
Skelly, yeah. Well, Skelly, lost his hand for trying to save everybody one more time, and then the war was over when he woke up, and bam, he's gotten this crappy hand. And
literally.
Yeah. And is it made of crap?
No. Delta crappy hand, but
figuratively.
There you go. Figuratively.
Sorry, my kid is literally everything all the time. He's literally everything. Everything is literally.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, I don't think you know what that means. That is like my zone in. We can cut that out though. Anyway, so yeah, he's been dealt this really bad hand of a hand, and lied to and manipulated, and I feel for the guy. So yeah, he's annoying. He's like a really jaded and jarring makes really bad decisions, and yeah.
Yep, I would agree for sure.
But has good intentions. He just makes really bad decisions.
Very erratic.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely. So, Kanan and Hera.
That was interesting because I never really picked up on the romance.
Really?
And I don't look for romance in people.
Yeah.
It's just not my, So when I saw the trailer for season 4 the other day, well, it's been a couple weeks now, the first one, I was like, there may be something there. And then I read this and I'm like, oh, there's always been something there. And I have just totally missed it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's a smart one, Heather.
Well, and I mean, to your defense, they have downplayed it a lot in the series. Because rewatching it with my wife, like you can kind of tell a little bit of like mom dad between the two, but not necessarily any kind of romance or relationship.
To me,
until the second season.
To me, it was mom dad, like platonic. They were really good friends. I never saw an actual romantic thing. I guess because I wasn't expecting it, because Kanan was Jedi. And training Jedi.
Yeah.
And Jedi don't do that.
Some
or
do
they?
It depends on the circumstance, I think.
Yeah. Some do,
the Jedi.
or we wouldn't be in this mess.
That's true. Anakin, we're looking at you.
Yep, that and pregnancy brain. Well,
yep,
we covered that on another episode. Find it.
There you go. But yeah, so I mean, as far as the relationship goes, I mean, like I never really got like a romantic relationship vibe until actually the end of season 2, where she's worried about him going off to Malachor with Ezra and Ahsoka and everything. And she's worried that he's not going to come back.
Right.
And kind of stuff like that. And how she kind of gets a little huffy at him about, I'll figure it out myself. And things like that. Where it kind of starts to feel like, okay, there's a relationship here. And I think in season 4, we're going to get more of that.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's what it looks like it's amounting to. Yeah.
But in these pages, you can't deny...
Oh, not at all. I love the way that he like just swoons over her. I think that's the coolest. Yeah. Where he's just enthralled with her voice alone. Because he has to know her because of the way she sounds.
Right. And he loved the way she flew. He loved her ship.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not been anything that he hasn't enjoyed about her.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. Obviously, we don't know where it goes, like, necessarily, because we're to season 4 of still Rebels, and it's still where it is. But, I'm really liking that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, and I feel like they're going to have to really establish more of that romantic relationship between them in season 4, because I mean, you and I know both are reluctantly on board with Kanan's probably not going to make it out. There's a good chance he's not making it out, and for that to hurt as much as it would, so I mean, for it to hurt as much as it could, I feel like that's really going to have to be played on a lot more.
Well, I think,
so.
though, that's a different... We should have gone into that earlier today when we did our earlier episode. But oh well. But, I mean, Hera could choose the rebellion and then lose him.
I don't know that I could see that happening. Because not the way that she's been acting in these earlier seasons that I've been watching. Like, I don't know. I just don't feel like that could happen. But,
She's been
anything
choosing the
could.
rebellion for everything else lately.
That's true. Kind of the rebellion over everyone. So, over her family, over everything. So, yeah. I don't know.
We'll see. Anyway, that's not this episode. Sorry. Tangent. I'm bad about that.
I'm horrible about it, so please forgive us for our tangents. Hope you enjoy them. But yeah, so I mean, I'm really excited about Kanan and Hera's relationship. I just like I said, I love the way he was just captivated by just the sound of her voice. And then when he saw her, the way he described her and things like that, and he was just like, "At least tell me your name." And then he just waited. It was almost like she was keeping him on the hook for a second. And then she finally calls back to him. And so, like, I don't know. Like, I love the back and forth. I'm excited to see that develop.
Yes. And then we end with chapter 15 with Hera. My name is Hera.
Yes.
And I really like that. See, I thought that was episodic because at the end, you're finished with, yep, I guess you're worthy of a name, even though... Yeah. You don't really need one. And he didn't need one. She didn't tell anyone else except for Skelly that we know of. Although it makes me wonder why she's like scattering her name around everywhere.
I don't know. It's kind of strange, especially since she's trying to be all secretive and
honestly, on a planet she knows is got lots of surveillance, and she's just like, here's my name here, here's my name here. But, I mean, that is, okay, take me legitimately because this is my name. And once you get into a certain thing, maybe.
So, I mean, it could be her just being young in the rebellion, too. Because we don't know how long she's been in it. I mean, obviously, she's got contacts here and there. So, it's not like a brand new thing. But it could be that her giving out her name.
Ship to have,
that's true.
Like, be able to assimilate someone else's correspondence signal and her to know how to stealthily get through an entire base with a guy that's got magic eyes and to take down a group of people that would never be taken down by even the doggone anti-Jedi was like, I wonder, I can take him.
Right.
But just he thought about it.
Exactly. He's like, it's Tuesday. Why not?
Yeah, and she's cute, so, I think.
Yeah, I think he thought she was.
Well, I mean, I think she's cute. Yeah. All I've really heard is her voice, but she sounded cute. That's worth a death.
There you go. Kanan didn't have a whole lot riding on that one, but... All right, guys. So that is our Holocron Book Club for A New Dawn.
Woo!
Yes, woo! That is our
coffee.
First... a BB-8 full of coffee.
A BB-8 full of coffee.
So that was our first 15 chapters, and so we'll be doing the next 15 next week. Hopefully we'll be able to do live. Yeah. So be looking out for that on our social media. We'll let you know when we go live and where we go live. Because we're trying out a few things, and we're going to see what we can do for you guys to make sure that we can get everybody in on everything, because we've been aware that not all people are fans of Facebook. So
we are the worst.
Yes.
So chapter 16 through 30 next week.
Yes.
And so that'll be fun. I'm going to read them.
Oh yes.
Like with my eyes.
So we'll be ready for you next week.
Yes.
So cool, guys. So in the meantime, you can check us out on KesselRunWeekly.com in all of our social media. Like, follow, share, whatever the corresponding thing is, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Kessel Run Weekly. And definitely stay tuned for our episodes every single Wednesday and Friday. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, just about anywhere you get your podcast, we're there. If you can't find us, let us know, because we'll go there.
Yeah. Danny is about to write some very interesting articles, so we will have those out to you on all of our social media very soon.
Absolutely.
Like one every once in a while, so enough to keep you satisfied.
Absolutely. Definitely, because I definitely want to have something cool for you guys in the meantime, because I mean, I love meeting with you on Wednesday and Friday. However, I miss you the other days of the week. So I want to try to see what we can do to get you some cool stuff out on our website, so we can all join in and have fun on KesselRunWeekly.com. Get some stuff going on. Because I really enjoyed writing the article about the TIE silencer snafu.
Yeah.
Be sure to check out KesselRunWeekly.com periodically. And until next time, guys, I'm Danny.
I'm Heather.
And may the Force be with you.